Warning, this video contains rumors, speculation, strong opinions, and
Welcome, Geeks and Gamers, to Geeks and Gamers Entertainment, making Geeks and Gamers great again. How can we do that? Examining what's happening in the fandom and when things go wrong, too. Because you know what? I am a Pat the NES punk and a CU podcast listener. I have been for years, and I'm really, really disgusted about how miserable they've become. It's always been part of, especially Ian's personality, but this is well. Here I'm going to give some updates. We're going to watch a few clips for the latest in Amico happenings because I am going to have an interview. It's going to be on the Gray Council channel, Darth Longest channel tomorrow. That way we can have a good discussion with Tommy, Lunga, and I believe Boshti. Hopefully Ren will also stop by so we can get some other perspectives. I do want to ask some hard questions too. So I got to think about my questions. Comment below. Let me know what you want asked on tomorrow's interview. But it's also about fandom because I've been a video game collector for a long time. My past few years, I've been covering movies more. That doesn't mean that I haven't been watching and collecting video games. But what I see from the fandom in video games too is just as disgusting as other parts of fandom here on YouTube. Entitlement, and ask the hard questions, but give respect to creators that are trying to create something. All I see is just trashing on products, ideas from people that don't create anything. They all have Patreon. Subscribe to my Patreon. While I could criticize actual other creators and companies, I don't see it blows my mind that people are like this on the internet. So entitled, just trashing things constantly. And then turning down an interview. That's bottom of the barrel. Because if you criticize someone, they want to talk, and then you don't make it happen, you're lame as hell. So I am calling out Pat and Ian, and I'll say I want to talk to them too. I don't like what they've been doing on this Amico. I enjoyed their coverage in the past on some of these other consoles that can be scams. But when you have industry professionals that are going all in, they are getting investors, so they're not fronting 100% of the product. But I wouldn't want them to. Do you want them to risk their whole livelihoods just for this? They're invested. Well, watch the interviews. Tommy is invested. Everyone working on it is invested, and they believe they're doing is what's right. Why would you hate on that so much? Wait till it's out. And there is absolutely no reason to make another console with a standard controller, just a standard controller. I do have questions about other options for controllers, but just the standard controller with everyone to mature games too, when there's so many other options that are better for that. This is not going towards the PlayStation 4, Xbox One market, and it shouldn't. They should not come back. Intellivision should not come back if they are just going to make a cookie cutter console that is nowhere near the power of the Xbox One, the PS4, or the next Xbox or PS5. There's absolutely no reason. They should not come to market if they do something similar to the Nintendo Switch, because they don't have the buck that Nintendo Switch does. They have to do something different, or there's no reason to come back. Along with the intellectual property, the games that are in the history of the Intellivision, they steer towards younger. So embrace that. Are you going to suddenly make Night Stalker and all that mature? It doesn't make sense. Now, I understand the point of not having mature games on at all. I do have an interesting question for him tomorrow about that. But if they say that's where they want to go, I say, okay, because the other benefit of going E for everyone is that this can, I was thinking about it, it can actually be a disruptor. If you listen, it's never going to be, if they did allow mature games, okay, it would never be a console that would support the best version of a mature game. So why even bother when you can have the marketing to have it say, no, this is E for everyone. We don't have that stuff. We're not against that stuff. Everyone that's interviewed him or dunked on Tommy lately has been totally missing that. He is not against violent video games. Why would you go to market with that, with a product that's different? It is inferior technology-wise to other consoles, and that's not a bad thing. Get that out of your mind too, because simple is an effective marketing strategy, especially for family products. This could easily have a place, hopefully, if we ever get kids back in the classrooms, as a safe learning tool. And the way it functions, where you can easily switch the controller from left-hand gamers to right-hand, be ambidextrous with the controller. That's another benefit. There's so many. I actually think that this is a game changer. There's been board games on consoles before, but with the screen and the functionality, I was thinking about it, like if there's a digital version of a game, instead of getting out the game and all the pieces and the missing pieces, yeah, that's fun to do with family, but a lot less chaos and clutter, and you can relax on the couch with the family. But let's get to some clips, okay? Now, here's a clip that is from, and I'm going to subscribe to him, Mikel Casanova, 11.5K subscribers. Okay, cool. And here is, I don't know if this is true or not, but if this is true, this is lame, because you're going to talk bad about the product, about the president of Intellivision, but you're going to decline an interview. If that is true, you're losers, Pat and Ian. All right, let me bring this up here. Oh, wrong button. Oh, here it is. I already have it in here. Okay. So we're just going to watch a clip here, and then we're going to go to Top Loaded Gaming, which was an interesting interview. I'll get to that in a moment. Okay, here we go.
A sellout and all this. And I'm like, okay, well, first off, I don't even know who the fuck you are.
Oh, I know who Pat and Ian are. Well, here's the other thing that's happening in all sides of fandom. This shill thing is disgusting. I have my issues with Access Media as well, okay? But anyone that wants to have an interview for a product is suddenly a shill. And if you don't dunk on it, you don't get credibility in the online space. If you don't trash, do your best to find all the negative points, you're not given credibility or considered legit. That shit needs to stop. That really does need to stop. There's a working area in between shill and hater, because you know what? If you're a hater, you're shilling for hate clicks too. I've long said this on my channel. If you're ready to hate everything and you consciously go towards the negative constantly, you are shilling for something too. You're not kissing Tommy's ass. You're kissing the ass of hate and trashing everything. And then if Ian or Pat did contact this guy and say, why are you having him on? And that's pretty lame. I don't know if it's the official Twitter account or someone's trying to there's also fake accounts. It could be a troll on Twitter. It might not be the actual one. Who knows?
I know who you are, but who are you? You know, it's like, you know, it was just weird, and it's, you know,
well, it's sick. It's sick is what it is, and I mean, how pathetic that this Ian character reaches out, who's clearly unhinged at this point. I mean, you know, how many other YouTubers have to, you know, smack him down before he like he has zero self-awareness of how
so-
he comes off, to other people.
So tomorrow, if you want me to bring this up to Tommy, I will. It's just the online communities, and they're ready to hate everything and pick everything apart just because they don't want the perception of shilling for products. So that is a cool, interesting topic that I might bring up too tomorrow.
But to reach out to somebody he doesn't even know on and PM you, private message you on Twitter to call you out because you're a podcast and you want to interview me, this is how insane these two have become. Like zero self-awareness. And I think what it is obviously they're cowards. They won't talk to me because they know they don't have the the wherewithal.
That's why I wanted to play this clip, because I did not know that he wants to collab with them.
Or to even have a conversation, because everything they always say about us is lies.
I'm still subscribed
to them. Exaggerate, and they give a bunch of misinformation. For them, they're just trying to save their channel, right? They haven't their subs haven't really been going up, so they feel that if they can cause a lot of
he's throwing heat now.
controversy, more people will click and view and this and that. And to be clear, I've reached out a number of times to those guys, and I've said, hey, look, why don't you have me on the show, and we'll get a whole bunch of other YouTubers and we'll do a big live stream together. Everybody will get a whole bunch of people watching. You can ask me all the tough questions you want, and we'll donate all the money. We'll gather all the YouTubers and we'll donate all the money to like Child's Play charity or something.
That sounds great.
Of course not. They, cowards. Cowards. But how pathetic that they go out of their way to message people. I'm curious. Did you answer them back, or did you just ignore it?
I just ignored it. I looked at it and I'm like, it's one of those surreal things.
Okay.
It's like,
so if you take Tommy on his word, he's tried to work it out, create a charity. If you're gonna call stuff out, be ready to talk about it. It's your right to say whatever you want, to pick apart everything. But if you just want to hate and that's it, I think you're garbage. Very disappointed in Pat and Ian. And yeah, I'm talking about them now. I'm going to keep covering them. And I want to talk to Pat and Ian anytime. I'm still subscribed. And I'm disappointed, you losers. No, you're not losers. But yeah, Tommy just called you out there. Now, this is what I like to see out of a president of a video game company. That's legit. He's making the rounds. He is taking the tough questions. And just to show you proof of that, let's get to the next video. Now, I think I'm going to still subscribe to Top Loaded Gaming. But I also, I'll be honest with you, I kind of have an issue too with the way he conducted the interview. He acted like he's hot shit. And in my personal opinion of the perspective of the interview, he acted like he's hot shit. And you don't have to show for him, but show some respect to who's on the panel for you, for sure. He's kind of just like casually smoking and stuff. I mean, there's nothing wrong with smoking, but I didn't like the tone of the interview, honestly. That's my opinion. I am still going to subscribe to him. I'll do that. I'll be fair, because there are some good points to the video that I'm going to use in my video. So go check out Top Loaded Gaming. And then on the CU podcast today, Ian and Pat gave him a shout out and saying he's just not giving a hand job in a Ferrari. He asked the tough questions. Oh my God. All right. So let's bring that up here. I really got to get my questions ready for tomorrow. Okay, so I'm gonna show two parts of this over hour-long video, the most interesting parts to me. All right.
Made in Unity, I would say.
Okay. All right. So let me ask you about Earthworm Jim.
Sure.
And this is
I want to know about
mostly
Earthworm Jim.
just to clarify, because the answer you kind of
This is where everyone's showing disrespect. Now, is it possible that you're not going to get a side scroller Earthworm Jim 3 which everyone wants. Yeah, it is still possible, and I hope that's not the route they go. But when he says trust me, I'm gonna trust him till the product comes out. I hope they're doing right. It is the original team, and that's what he's getting to here.
Wasn't so direct, but
Uh-huh.
is Earthworm Jim, and I'm not really concerned where it started from, but is Earthworm Jim going to be a full-fledged experience that we've come to expect with, the first few games?
Of course. Of course. What do you think? We're going to take the
Okay,
license
so
and make a bubble popping game?
yes
Yeah.
across the board. All right,
Yes.
there we go.
Uh,
So we can put that one to bed. It's done.
Well, and again, let me just say, look, it's the original team. We know what we're doing. People who think we're going to all of a sudden do a crappy Earthworm Jim game.
Now, to be fair, I love you, Tommy, but you still really didn't answer the question. He said we're going to do a great game. He talks about the team. It's still not saying, is it like a Earthworm Jim 3 or is it something else? It still could be something else. So I still think he was vague enough to leave room for a different type of product. I'm rooting for him either way. I would prefer Earthworm Jim 3 and a side scroller, shooter, action, platformer. So that's what I would prefer. I don't think he answered this question. Like Top Load Gaming said, well, that's put to bed. I don't think it is. I don't know if I'm going to push him on it either, though. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you want me to push him. I don't want to upset him. I do want to be respectful to him. But yeah, I don't think he's going to say, I think he's going to still be vague about that.
They're not, they're just looking for things to pick apart at that point.
That's true. They are.
That team, we did Global Gladiators, Cool Spot, Disney's Aladdin, Earthworm Jim 2. Those are the 5 games that the 10 of us worked on together, start to finish, 5 years in a row.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say I love Cool Spot. I grew up with Cool Spot on the Genesis. That was a great game. Cool Spot.
So please just
game.
trust us. We haven't all
the games you listed was great. I'm just saying I grew up with Cool Spot. I really liked it.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
So here's the next question for you, Tommy.
Yes.
You got into
this is where I got just as
disdain for
this is where I got just as mad and pissed off as Tommy, because he did not say he's against violent video games. He just said this is not what we're going for. And like I said at the beginning of this video, there's absolutely no reason to make another console that plays every single type of game to mature when you're going to have an inferior mature with the graphics and you're going to compete. Listen, whenever you look, here's the argument. Whenever you make, and this is what I'm going to bring up, whenever there is a version of a game and it's mature, the hardcore always buys the better version. They would never buy the Amico version. So why even bother? Why even bother? If there's a violent, bloody game on a console, and then there's an Amico special version, but it still has the blood, it's still mature, no one's going to buy that copy. It doesn't make sense. Why even bother? And when you lock it out, do I necessarily 100% agree with that idea? No, but I respect it because it opens you up to different markets than you wouldn't have otherwise. The benefits of doing it outweigh the opportunities and benefits outweigh anything you'll miss on having mature games on this type of console. Because the other thing is I don't know the graphical capabilities. I enjoy the graphics. I would like more impressive visuals myself on some of these games, but there's no reason to do it. If you're going to be competing, it's a lose situation. So go with the strength for marketing and get your product in more areas and use that for marketing. Make it a strength. So I don't like where he's leading this. He's leading questions
for violence and everything.
Well, that's not true.
That's not true. See?
Let's start there. That's
to be fair, you said the gaming industry has gone too far twice. You said that during the stream. You didn't say.
Can I
You didn't
can I
say.
clarify that?
You
'Cause
know.
you're putting words in my mouth right now.
How am I putting words in your mouth? You
Because
said
what
twice.
I want your viewers to do, because you can't say that my overall idea of the industry is that the industry's gone too far in that stuff. I have been a proponent for artistry and not censoring stuff my
Right.
entire career. So
I
to
get
Right.
that, and
all of the
perhaps you
hard work that I've
misspoke,
done
or
is
you didn't, or
insulting
you
to me.
didn't.
It's
clarify
insulting.
enough,
I
but
did.
you
I
did.
Right.
I
Make
take
it,
issue with
you
the
know, just
disrespect that Top Loaded Gaming and Pat and Ian are doing here too. Why are so entitled to look? Gamers lose their minds once you say ratings and censorship, and that's all it's about. When does it when is it going to be about the quality of the product? If you attack the quality of the product, that's a different story. They lose their minds, and that I can't make a blanket statement. That's with internet culture together. All they care about is saying whatever they want to say, and enjoying whatever content they want to have. It does not make sense for the Amico. There would be no reason to bring the Intellivision back to compete with other consoles that do this type of gaming better. You would never buy the Amico version. Would I be opposed to seeing a mature rated game on the Amico in the future? No, but I completely understand why. And to call him out saying he's like an SJW or something against violence and video is absolutely ridiculous based on the history. You should know this man's history, and it is completely disrespectful. I'm sick of it I'm sick of internet culture altogether with this type of thing. This guy is also a benefit for Intellivision. He has been making the rounds on these interviews, talking to a lot of people. He's talking to me tomorrow. That is another benefit. I think I'm really starting to get more and more positive. I've always been positive for the Miko, but I think he's on to something here. If I personally was developing it, I like mature games. I would say what does it benefit to have mature games on the Amico? It does more damage. Not that violence is damage. It does more. It hurts our marketing opportunities and reach to have mature games as opposed to not having them, where we're open to new markets, and it's that safe acronym. So, all right.
The overarching statement as a whole, twice, I think the gaming industry has gone too far. You know,
Yeah. So can I?
that's what I'm giving you the opportunity to do, is clarify on that.
Great.
You know?
So let me do
go
that.
ahead.
So what I said is that what I don't like is when, and so let me first start by saying I did a whole TED talk on this. If people look up TED Talk, Tellerico, they will see how I defend the industry to allow them to do violence and art and all this stuff. So I'm the biggest proponent for free speech in the industry, and I've done that for 30 years. So for somebody to, for anyone to maybe, and again, I'm going to blame myself. It was taken out of context, but I mean, I don't think it was, but people made cuts of it, and it looks bad the way it
Well,
came
I made
out.
cuts of it.
Fine.
I
My
made
mistake.
cuts of it myself.
Okay, my mistake. So let me clarify what the problem I have was. Is that the issue that I have is that there's a lot of content out there that parents, when they buy a machine like a Nintendo Switch, a lot of parents, they don't set the parental controls, right? And that's
true.
Not the industry's fault.
No.
But I'm just, let's be real, right? Let's be real, right? Not a lot of parents will set the parental controls. And a lot of parents also think that, well, something like that has the name Nintendo on it is going to be safe for my kids. I don't need to worry about it because it's Nintendo. And you and me both know that has always been the case with Nintendo. They were the most strict place. You remember,
It,
you know,
it
they wouldn't
it's
let
it's mostly been the case.
well, for,
I'll agree with you on that. You know,
in,
when we
well
were
no, in the,
growing
yeah, in
up,
the
you know,
89.
they censored Mortal Kombat, you know, on the Super
Right.
Nintendo.
And what
That was,
Yeah,
you know, the version that was censored and
right.
whatever. So you know, I'll grant you that. But
And
I
so
mean,
Nintendo
you
is
went
always
as
the family.
far as to say that your Night
so
Stalker.
so when Nintendo has gone away from that, there is a new market that's emerged, and to take advantage of that is the right thing to do. So Nintendo has gone away from only family friendly. Nintendo still means fun. It still means you can have family fun, but there is a market out there for family friendly only, and Nintendo does not exactly exemplify that right now. I mean, they have a lot. The majority of the product is that way, but there's a new. They opened up an opportunity to come in. Take advantage of it. Listen, if you want it to be do you want to just nitpick or do you want them to be a success?
Game doesn't shoot humans, it shoots robots, you
Yeah,
know. So I'm
I want to
listening to
shoot some
that and
robots.
I'm thinking to myself, if this
uh-huh,
guy gets a Contra game approved, you know,
uh-huh.
gets
Okay,
through his
this is a
contacts,
good
gets us a
question.
Yeah,
Contra game,
This is a good
yeah.
question.
just a bullet hitting.
Okay, this is a good question. This is clarification because are you going to see no violence at all? No. I like this part of the interview. I will give props when it's when props are needed. Top loaded game. This is a good question about Contra.
Just a bullet
No,
hitting a
that's not true.
character is going to
That's
be
not true, my
censored.
friend.
I'm just
That's
telling
not
you
true,
where
my
my
friend.
train of thoughts goes
Right,
based on what you said. I'm
right.
not
Well, see,
saying
but
it's true. I'm saying that's where my mind goes.
I appreciate it. So just so you know, anyone can Google right now Contra and look at what the ESRB rating is on Contra. The rating is E10 plus, which is exactly what our machine does. What we don't allow on the machine is teen or mature rated games. Now, what makes a game teen? What makes a game teen is mild blood, mild bad language, mild sexual content, mild, you know, extreme violence, right? And so we don't want any of that. But if you'd like me, I could quickly explain what the difference is between what makes an E10 plus or a teen game when it comes to shooting somebody, for example. If you shoot somebody like in Contra and they fall over and they blink and they disappear, totally fine and acceptable
Good,
because it's
because
not
I like that.
real. Like it's, you know, it's very, they call it cartoon violence, right? Us growing up watching Bugs Bunny cartoons all day long, that's considered cartoon violence. Yes, somebody's getting run over or falling off a building, but it's, you know, it's not believable. Where you get crossing the teen is if you shoot somebody and they go, oh, you know, and it's like a violent thing, or blood comes off, or their arm comes off, or they scream in terror. That's where, and I'm just telling you
So
how
like
the industry.
And why would you want to see that on an Amico system? I mean, you could have that argument that says you want to see it, but when it's going to be done better somewhere else visually, that's not the point of the system. It's not. I think there's a lot of strengths to the system. Visceral violence and stuff is not going to be a strength. Why do it at all? So just because someone's going to do it better somewhere else, so just focus on your strengths is the smart thing to do.
Say again.
Comparing Val Forest, if I'm saying that right.
All right, I'll skip ahead to the other important part and this is news. I think it starts here.
In fact, one of the major retailers is going to be announcing the Galaxy Purple. Somebody asked me.
I'm getting both.
So yeah, that's the so one of the major retailers is going to be announcing that they're putting the Galaxy Purple on pre-order next week. Actually,
maybe Friday or Monday.
It might even be this week. we're trying for this Friday, so it might be this Friday.
Okay.
So
So look out for follow him on Twitter.
But yeah, so we've had to massively cut back on the purchase orders, and the retail has been super cool because they understand, they get it, you know.
All right, that's where we'll put that interview. And I'll have one more thing to share with you because he did tweet out. There is on I believe a German website. There is today's marks Amico's first official appearance in German retail. You can discover our unique family entertainment system on the websites of MediaMarkt and Saturn, Europe's biggest consumer electronic chains. Okay, so there's the picture there. There's his tweet. Let me trash that, and then we'll end this video. All right. I want to show you the website. See if we can find anything on there new. So I'm going to share screen again. Here we go. All right. Let me see here. There's pictures. That's pretty small. Oh, there you go. Sorry about that. Here is Astro Smash, Cornhole, Earthworm Jim Anthology, Farkle, I believe, Shark, Skiing. I think this is the signed card. And I believe you get his soundtracks, Tommy Tallarico soundtracks. All right, and let me make this larger here. See if there's anything else interesting here. Okay, I forgot. This is why I wanted to show. I did not know this. If you're interested in this type of thing, those who order by May 31st, 20 or a maximum of 2,000 customers can immortalize themselves in the credits of the games by Moon Patrol, Pong, and Biplanes. All right, so there's some other stuff there. I don't think anything else here is new. All right, if you want me to ask tomorrow, I'll trash that. If you want me to ask, and I do have the Founders Edition, the wood grain one, on pre-order already, and my wife likes this purple one. So I think I'm going to have this one for the living room and this one for the upstairs. And I have questions about the controller. I know that online is not a priority too. I'm starting to think with the current way the world is, that might be nice too, online multiplayer, but I could see why they wouldn't focus on it first. Get things done right first, get the install base, eventually download. He said he's not opposed to it. So maybe with a firmware update. Let me know your comments. Smash the hell out of this, the like out of this video. Comment below. And let's get gaming. Let's make gaming great again. I think that's what Tommy Tallarico is doing by revitalizing Intellivision with the Amico. It's going to be fun. That's what I want. All I'm expecting is fun. See you later.